Have you guys seen the Korean movie called Train to Busan? In my opinion, it's one of the best zombies movies ever made. Definitely a top three. It's got a huge following, and it's made in South Korea. But despite that, it managed to break the borders of South Korea, and it's an international phenomenon. And so people were excited when the sequel was announced. So, Train to Busan, the sequel, is called The Peninsula. And unfortunately, this one was a massive failure. Almost every single person that liked the first one disliked the second. And yet, people who hated it were actually upset that the movie failed. They were actually disappointed. And it was like a bittersweet thing, understanding that this may be the end of the franchise. Chances are there's not going to be another one because this one didn't perform well. And so the question is, why is it that when this failed, people are upset, but when something like Dragon Age failed, people are cheering? There's an entire industry right now of content creators just shitting on these AAA productions. Like, if I made a channel and I shat on Train to Busan, I don't think I would get that many views. I don't think, many people would be interested simply because there's no point in it. Like, people watch it, they know it's bad, and that's it. They would be like, why are you punching down? Why are you kicking a dead horse? It's like, we already know it's bad. So I wouldn't get that many views. But if you shit on Dragon Age, then you're raking in the cash. And you're raking in the cash because that's what people want to see. That's what the market demands. If you make a channel, like Jeffy, for instance, one of the developers on God of War, and you're praising the game, almost no one wants to see that. Almost no one watches. You're going to get like 200, maybe 300 viewers on a live stream. So how do we explain that people actually despise the AAA industry in the West? Meanwhile, you're looking at other productions, other entertainment that's failing, and people are, legitimately disappointed that this movie wasn't good. Meanwhile, no one is disappointed that Dragon Age wasn't good. And so we end up with this situation that Rageaholic is describing pretty well, saying that there's a AAA apocalypse within the gaming world. And everyone is cheering. And so you gotta ask why. And I think the main reason is that when the people tried to make a sequel to Train to Busan, they at least understood the lore and the setting of the first one. And they tried to create a second one. And you could see that they're actually doing their best in order to accomplish something. Now, they didn't succeed, but they at least tried, So one of the things that they did wrong is that they focused a lot on action. They focused a lot on special effects. They tried to do it for the mainstream audience. And it failed because the original one was trying to do something a little bit more niche. Like, sure, they took the zombie genre, but it was like a slow-paced, methodical, horror type of movie. Well, the second one, they like, okay, let's add guns. Let's make it bigger. Let's make it more immersive, right? But at the end of the day, they weren't trying to be entertaining. They were actually trying to make a product that sells. If you look at what's happening with the AAA in the West, if you're looking at stuff like Dragon Age, for instance, the main problem is that it hires community manager that operate on spite. Like, just constant spite. They're not making a product for entertainment. They're making a product and they're telling how much they hate you. Like, you go on social media and they say, oh, this is gender heteronormative bigots, chads, homophobic, transphobic. It's really like that. It's like a mental asylum. So, at least these people, right? If you say that you don't like the movie, at least they would be humble enough and they would say, well, we tried. Or, hey, I guess that's accurate criticism. Next time we'll do it better. Like, the way they treat customers like human beings is why most individuals are looking at this failure and they're just feeling bittersweet about it. And it's like, well, this is what we got, it is what it is. Meanwhile, with here, when you tell a company, it's like, hey, don't do this, don't put cellulitis in your fucking game. Don't put chest scars. Don't put body type A, body type B. Like, we don't like that. And they will insult you. It's like, no, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. You're a bigot. You're an asshole. Just shut the fuck up. This game is not for you. Of course you're going to cheer when the company fails. Of course you're going to be like, well, I fucking told you so. And this is where we're at. It's literally the marketing. It's the community managers. And it's also the incestuous relationship between the companies and the journalists. Like, the journalists are defending this game. So I don't know what's happening behind closed doors, if it's payola, if it's something else, but at this point, in the mind of the people, Kotaku, Polygon, IGN are the marketing team of BioWare. Return to form. Oh, it's a return to form. Okay, so when the journalists are insulting the customers, in the mind of the people, it's BioWare that does it. And of course, BioWare could have just stepped up and said, hey, game journalists, we understand that you like our game, but like, please stop insulting our customers. Because we need them. And they may be transphobic, but we need their money because otherwise we go bankrupt. So shut the fuck up. But no, they're not doing that, right? So this is basically the result of that. And then there's also, you listen to these developers speak and they're like, oh, we're trying to change the way people think. We're trying to change society. Well, I don't want society to be changed. Did you think about that? I actually like society. I enjoy how it is now. And so if you want my money to change society, how about you fuck off? Use your own money for that shit. Go bankrupt. Which is what is happening right now. So, all of these things put together is why people are cheering. And then it's also the thing that, at least in South Korea, you got like Train to Busan, right? So like, this wasn't a good thing, but like, you have Squid Games, you got other stuff coming that's enjoyable. So you don't have to consume this, like, okay, well, this was a failure, let's watch something else. In the West, almost everyone agreed that they have to do the same shit. Almost every single game is body type A, body type B. Almost every single game is pronouns. Almost every single thing. It's like, I want to see companies competing with each other, not copying each other, not stealing each other's homework, not doing the same shit. Everything is over the top shoulder with a little bit of RPG and some crafting. Everything is The Last of Us 2. And so I want them to fail so that other companies can rise up. I remember back in the day when a game came out, the first thing you wanted to know is like, what is the gameplay like and what are they adding new? And you'd have like the idea, okay, well, Assassin's Creed, most games that do stealth, it's like Splinter Cell. Like, you have to hide in the shadows, you have to make sure that the enemy doesn't spot you. But what if you have a game where you can literally just sit on a bench in plain sight and you use social stealth? Like, the enemy can see you, and even though it's looking at you, they're not thinking that you're the guy they're after because, you're in a crowd. You're one person among 100. So you can have a guard literally walk up past you, and they don't notice you that you're there, right? That was an immersive thing. That was like something that no one has done up till then. And it's like, wow, it's like, the more you think about it, it is kind of like real life. The concept of social stealth, right? In Prince of Persia, like, what if you can run on walls? What if you can do parkour? Like, no one did that. What if you can rewind time? Right? So, like, they would come up with these concepts that up until then, no one thought about it. And then, like, someone would take it to the next level and they would be like, okay, but, like, what if you can wall run, but it's first person? So you now have a game, I think it was called Mirror's Edge, right? And you do the same thing like in Prince of Persia, but it's first person and it's fucking cool. And so companies were competing with each other. Like, they were constantly innovating and trying to attract the market by building up on the previous thing and creating new shit. And now you end up with staleness. Every company does the same. Every company just makes what they think works. And it just doesn't. It just fucking doesn't. So, like, it's good that they're finally going bankrupt so that they can make room for the industry to breathe. And unfortunately, I think in the future, Asia, whether it's South Korea, whether it's China, whether it's like some Japanese companies that are left, are going to have to pick up the mantle and show the West how video games are being done. And so maybe like in 8 or 9 years, we can have AAA managing to come back in force. Like, the West was the dominant market when it came to video games. All the games that are coming up now, you know, The Last Descendant, Nikkei, there's another one with girls that came out, Girls Frontline or some shit. None of them would have mattered in the age of Mass Effect, when Dragon Age was king, during World of Warcraft. Like, Japan, even the entire Asia has not created something even remotely as popular as World of Warcraft. I mean, that thing was international. That thing was everywhere. It was a cultural phenomenon. And so, I know that the West has the potential of making magic, but they can't do it like this. This isn't it. It cannot be done with consultants. It cannot be done with Blackbird. It can only be done with passionate people that are allowed the space to be creative. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.